All right. I now reconvene the regular Board of Education at 7:06 with Blair, Fikes, Orozco, Anna, and Cruz present. Before we begin, please silence all electronic devices. Note that these proceedings are being recorded. Pat.
The board met in closed session from 3:30 p.m. to 6:58 p.m. regarding conference with legal counsel existing and anticipated litigation, student discipline, student admissions, conference with labor negotiators ACT and CSCA, public employee discipline dismissal release, public employee appointment coordinator of child development, and public employee performance evaluation superintendent. In closed session, the board adopted a statement of charges for the immediate suspension and dismissal of a permanent classified employee number 8776 by unanimous vote, with Fikes, Blair, Na, Orozco, and Cruz voting yes. Further, the board voted to appoint Beatriz Pascual Travaglia as coordinator child development effective Friday, October the 7th, 2016 by unanimous vote, with Fikes, Blair, Na, Orozco, and Cruz voting yes. No further action was taken, which requires public disclosure.
Thank you. Leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Walnut Elementary School, 5th grade, Frankie Verduzco.
Good evening, board and audience. Please stand and place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
We're now at the presentations. Joining us tonight is Townsend Junior High School.
Good evening and welcome. As I believe we announced, this is the Townsend Junior High School music program, and we're happy to bring to you just a handful of our performers. Our band is actually a little over 100 students this year, but if we brought them all, we wouldn't fit. So we want to thank you for inviting us, and we have a few tunes to play for you. We're getting ready for our upcoming football game. So at this time, we'd like to ask you to rise for our national anthem. Thank you so much. I don't know if I introduced myself. I'm Mrs. Ann Rutt. I am the band director at Townsend Junior High School, and we're so pleased to be here and happy to have our administrators here. Thank you for supporting us. Our students are getting ready. This is very early in the year for a junior high to perform, but our performance that we're getting ready for, we were invited to play with the Chino Hills High School Marching Band and Color Guard at their football game. So come on out and see us on October 21st, and you get to see the whole group. It'll be a lot of fun. So we have some of our football tunes we've been getting ready, and we'd like to play those for you tonight. Chino Hills High School fight song, Boomer Sooner. Starts with percussion. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. We hope to see you on October 21st at the football game.
Yeah, I was like, what do you do that? Hey, Sylvia, and do a backflip. Yes.
So, Ms. Orozco, how was it? I noticed you were cheery. No. Bring back our youth when we were younger.
I was looking for my pom-poms. Okay, so I think that's unheard of, is it, to have over 100 members in a band?
That is
So,
something.
that's amazing.
That is amazing, 100.
That's nice.
That's awesome. Okay. Dr. Infield, would you please introduce our next presentation?
President Cruz, members of the board, on behalf of Mr. Joseph, tonight I'm excited to share with you regarding multi-tiered system of support behavior. I know a lot of times we hear about the academic component of it, but tonight we're going to talk about the behavior component. First, though, I want to do a few thank yous. I want to thank the board for the last several years for your support in the implementation and the development of this through our LCAP. Thank you very much for that. I also want to thank the staff at the school sites who have implemented the multi-tiered system of support. If it wasn't for all of their hard work in putting this program together, our counselors, our teachers, our CSA support staff and administration, we wouldn't have the program that we have today. And then also I want to thank two individuals who back in 2013 had a vision for this program and who brought this program to our district. And those are Ms. Anna Inglesrud, who is the Director of Special Education, and Dr. Sherry Johnson. And I want to acknowledge the work that they've done in this program because you will not find a program like this in the state of California. You will not. It's phenomenal that the work that they've done in the multi-tiered system of supports along with our academics, but I do want to, again, acknowledge them for their vision and bringing this program forward. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Anna Inglesrud.
Good evening, President Cruz, board members, Mr. Joseph, and cabinet members. It is my honor to be here tonight. As a director of special education, you probably wonder why am I involved in this function, because it really is a general ed function. And I have to give you a little bit of history, because in 2013, like Dr. Enfield stated, there was a change that had happened in the state of California in the law. Previously, students with mental health issues or challenges were referred to Department of Behavioral Health. The state decided that they were not able to reach the population they needed to reach, so instead of the funding going to other departments, they decided school districts, you are now responsible for that piece. What they did at that time, they put it under special ed as a function of special education. And that was great, and we started developing a program. We have our behavior intervention program where Dr. Johnson is our coordinator. And we hired our intervention specialists within that department. We had ERMS counselor, educationally related mental health service counselors. And so we thought things were going pretty well. However, there was a whole population of students we didn't reach because, as you know, special education served maybe 10% of our population. So what we did at the time, we started looking around to see what can we do? How can we address the needs of all of our students? So Dr. Johnson, as a former school psychologist in the district, had an opportunity to attend the National Conference for School Psychologists. And so we sent her across the states, and she met up with people from all over the country. And in Boston at the time, in 2013, and in Colorado, they were pretty advanced in this tiered intervention for behavior. So we were interested, and we got information from them. We had a psychologist from Boston come out here and talk with us. We had Dr. Achilles Bardos from the University of Colorado come and talk to us about it, and we wanted to know what would this look like? What would this function look like for us? And so out of those conversations, we started talking, and I think that's where, again, we owe this board a lot of gratitude because you valued our proposals, and you realized we had to do something to support all of our students, not just academically, but also in that social emotional realm. And so we were able to hire intervention counselors through that process. So now the question becomes, why are we doing this? And so why do we need that level of support, and what are the benefits of MTSSB? So we have a few individuals that will talk to you today about some of the things that we are doing and why we're doing them and what the benefits are. So quickly, I just want to talk about, you have the presentation already, but I think for us, ultimately, our goal is we want to support our students academically. We want to see them do well, but we also want to support the whole child. So for our students, there's numerous benefits. For our schools, I think it allows our administrators to really have a common language and talk about improved school climate and student behavior. And for a district, again, it's that framework of common language across the district. It's not dictating the terms for each site, it's creating a framework in which they can operate and, again, create that common language at their school. So that's kind of the real surface type of information. And then the second piece for us, when we started the conversation with other states to see what they were doing, there's some research in this world of tiered intervention, which MTSSB really is a very comprehensive tiered intervention. And if you look at all the benefits of what we're doing, you have that increase in skill sets, in attitudes, in behaviors, in that emotional, social emotional kind of well-being, and then of course that increase in standardized test scores because you have students that are healthy. So I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Johnson as she can talk even more in detail about our system.
Good evening. Okay, in front of you, we did put a binder we put together, and we'll be referencing that in the next few minutes. So it's just for your information. There's a lot more information in here than we could certainly cover tonight. But what I guess the first question is, you're hearing MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support, and you're probably thinking, what is that? So very simply, it really is the intentional structuring of a system that encompasses these three basic components. It's looking at the implementation of a school-wide system of positive behavioral supports, and we'll talk more about that in a second. It consists of the structured social-emotional learning opportunities, and it also emphasizes the implementation of evidence-based practices and procedures. So in a nutshell, that's the definition of multi-tiered systems of support. So there are 5 key elements of MTSSB. And if you go on any of our campuses, all of these are part of the systems that were built. Every school will look a bit different, but this is the foundation. So at every school, we have consistent and universal expectations. We have a continuous acknowledgement of positive or pro-social behaviors. We also have a systematic teaching of behaviors, which is a key. We also have a universal screening that's done 3 times a year for all of our students. And most importantly, we have a tiered approach. So what does that look like? We'll get to that. But if you go into your schools, it will definitely vary, but as you're going in, you're going to see these behavioral expectations posted throughout the campuses. And the reason for this is it's a positive approach. So, before we may have had, don't run in the hallway or no chewing gum, but instead we have a positive approach where we're emphasizing in many schools, what does it look like to be safe in different locations? What does it look like to be responsible? What about being respectful in different locations? And we have some samples of that for you. And all of these are put in this continuum of how we teach, how we acknowledge, how we correct, and how we utilize data that we gather pretty much continuously on discipline referrals and referrals for higher levels of intervention. So this is the system. We started 3 years ago developing the MTSSB approach. We looked at many different models throughout the country. We worked with Boston public schools, and we deviated a bit. We had a team of folks come together. It's our district MTSSB team, and we started working over 3 years ago to develop this model. And so tonight we are going to focus on tiers 1, which I'll take you through in just a few moments, and also looking at tiers 2 and tier 3. Tier 4 we won't really go into. That's our most intensive. That would actually involve referrals to special education for students that are having very, very significant needs, or maybe even a 504 plan. So we're going to move you through that model. And if you open your book, you can see, because this is really small, you can actually see it. We'll talk more generally about what the tiers consist of, but later when you have time, you can look at the actual process there. So tier 1, there are some other important considerations that we looked at. And it was not difficult in Chino Valley Unified School District to find strong administrative leadership. Bringing a new program into a district is, as probably you know, it's difficult at times. But we really were embraced. We had administrators, we had teachers on our leadership team as we developed the model. And it came from site administrators to district administrators, and we were able to move this forward. You know, when I talked to other districts across the country, it was interesting. I just actually spoke with some a couple of weeks ago. I was at a conference, and it's amazing the resistance that the other districts have encountered in getting district-wide implementation. If you look on the first page of your binder, there's actually the list of the rollout, and I don't think we mentioned that. We have 28 schools, all of the schools except for our high school, and we're working on that process. But within 2 years, going into our third year, to have 28 schools involved in this, it's absolutely amazing. It just brings tears to my eyes, actually, because this is what our kids need. So we have that strong leadership. We have team-based implementation from district level to school site level. There are teams working at both levels with the whole process. We have teachers working together implementing MTSSB. Goes right down to the classroom, to the grade levels. And then again, I'll talk a little bit more about actually the key component of Tier 1 are these school-wide behavioral expectations that are taught, acknowledged, and corrected. Some of the other components that are unique. You've probably heard of response to intervention, which was around for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. And I think one of the components that was missing out of RTI is this whole focus on database decision-making. And truly, every step of the way, we're collecting data. We're collecting data at the school site level, at the classroom level, at the individual student level, and then taking all that data and then combining it for all of our schools to look at what we're doing district-wide for these 28 schools. So I think that's the crucial piece, is taking the information that we have and utilizing it to analyze and to make important decisions. And there are times we've tweaked. I mean, we've tweaked the process a bit with input from different folks that are, entering the system, and they come up with great ideas. And it's the data piece, I think, that drives this forward. We'll talk a little bit more about the behavior interventions at Tier 2 and Tier 3. But in addition to the behavioral expectations, the other piece that's unique to our system is the second step curriculum. The district made the decision to purchase Second Step. And Second Step is a curriculum that every teacher in the district has from the grade levels that we talked about. We have preschool, TK, all the way to 8th grade. And every teacher teaches Second Step curriculum within the classroom. So we have common language, we have students that are out there utilizing common language. It supports that skill building of the behavioral expectations piece. So it's very, very exciting. It's very exciting. And then additional programs that also support the Tier 1, and you've heard of many of these, and we have Mr. Mellon here tonight to talk about Safe School Ambassadors. And then other schools have other pieces that fit nicely within that Tier 1 to help support the social emotional learning of our students. In your binder, this is Second Step, and we included a list of all of the different lessons it goes from preschool to 8th grade. And the Second Step curriculum, it promotes school success, connectedness, safe and respectful schools. And if we look a little bit more in terms of looking at the research, you can read there for yourselves, but one of the main components is the skills for learning, and that's woven into all of the lessons. Helping students develop empathy, how to identify emotions, label emotions, take perspective of others. Teach them how to manage their emotions, having some real concrete steps in how do you manage your emotions so that we don't escalate and we don't have negative behaviors. And then finally, how to problem solve. So this is going on in the classroom throughout all of Chino Valley Unified School District. And we have here tonight Lori Warner and Josh Rigger and they're going to share a little bit about what's going on at Eagle. And
Good evening. Thank you for having us here this evening. Our quest with a positive behavior environment actually truly began when we ventured out to become a no excuses university school. Two exceptional systems of the No Excuses University are the essence of a positive behavior environment, and two of the exceptional systems that are crucial to a No Excuses University are the culture of universal achievement and intervention. So MTSSB really dovetailed nicely into our No Excuses University environment. Prior to the full implementation of MTSSB in CVUSD, we were already working towards a positive behavior system. One of the things that we had in place was the first 20 days of school. And with me this evening, I have my fantastic assistant principal, Mr. Rieger. He's going to come up and talk to you a little bit more detail about how we put together our positive behavior system and in something that morphed into our first 25 days of school. And so, come on, Mr. Rieger.
Good evening, everyone. So we started off the framework and the groundwork for this program is, first of all, laid out by beginning to change the language from rules to expectations. So as I think Dr. Johnson alluded to earlier, rules are set on the foundation to be broken, but expectations are set on how what we expect behavior to be like or what we expect students to follow. And what it does ultimately is creates a common language for students to communicate with each other, with adults, with anybody else who's on campus about their behavior. And it's grounded in three different ways of being, and that's being respectful, being responsible, and being safe. Language that states what students are supposed to be, how they're supposed to conduct themselves as citizens, and being at two sites. I've seen this rolled out at one for the past 3 years, and we're currently rolling it out at the other. And you can see just within 6 weeks of rolling it out at one site, there's already that language, and students know the language, they know how to speak the language, they understand that being respectful, being responsible, and being safe really permeates everything that they do while they're on campus. And so at Eagle Canyon, we rolled this out, we do the first 25 days of school, and you can see up here, this is kind of an overview of the presentation that we give to students, but under the guise of being respectful, being responsible, and being safe, we have expectations for different locations. So whether students are in the cafeteria, whether they are in the classroom, on the playground, in the restroom, in the office, there are expectations that they know, again, under being respectful, being responsible, and being safe. And we repeat those so many times that students really understand that that's how they're supposed to be. And we roll out one expectation by location a day for the first 25 days of school. Our teachers then reinforce that through a mini lesson in the classroom, and it really does become a permanent part of Eagle Canyon. We have signs posted in classrooms. We have them throughout the entire campus, so students are always aware of those expectations. And you go up and ask any student, how are you supposed to be, and they will reply, be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. And one of the first things I do when I counsel students is, if they're in my office, is I refer to these posters on my wall, and I ask them, how are you, being, or what were you not being, and they can respond in that manner. So they understand that it's not a rule to be broken, and that's been the hardest part, is translating that language from rules to behavior-driven expectations. So it's been a journey, but it's been successful. And then what we do is we've then translated this into this culture into the different grade levels. So each grade level collaboratively has developed their own grade level classroom expectations, again, under the three headings of being respectful, being responsible, and being safe. So what this does ultimately is it creates a common language for students. It's simple language, yet it's powerful language that really they can relate to. And I can go up to any student and say, what are you expected to be at Eagle Canyon, or what are you expected to be at Rolling Ridge? And they can say, be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. And then, of course, no program is worth its well-being unless it's reinforced by administration. And then our job as administrators is to be very visible, especially during the infancy of this, during the first couple of weeks, and to instill that students really do take this in, and it becomes part of their being at school. And so through our due diligence of being visible, teachers, reinforcement in the classroom, and referencing back. We don't just roll it out one time and forget about it. We constantly bring it back at our morning rallies, and we revisit these expectations as needed. So if in a given week we see that students aren't following certain expectations, for example, in the restroom, then we revisit those restroom expectations and what it looks like to be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dan Mellon. I'm the Director of Risk Management. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Safe School Ambassadors. This is a program that came to our district in about 2011, if I'm not mistaken. It was brought to us by the principal of Townsend Junior High at that time. She introduced me to it. In a short time, I met the gentleman that is the founder and director of it, who, when you hear him speak, is a bit of an evangelist, and it's hard not to get excited when you hear what he has to say. Since that time, we've managed to include 19 elementary schools, 2 of the K-8s, 5 junior highs, and 1 high school in the program. The purpose of the Safe School Ambassadors program is to harness the power of students to prevent bullying and violence. It's an inside-out approach. So often we try to change behaviors by having an assembly, possibly pulling people together and talking to them in a group and having the information go down this way. Well, this approach is a little bit different. It's from the inside out. So we, in a positive way, we sort of infect a little virus into students that they will then let it mushroom out and improve the culture within their school. It relies on social norm change, and we know that students hear and know things that administrators and teachers don't. This isn't a snitch program. We're not teaching them to go running to the office when they know something's up, but what it really is about is teaching them to recognize when things like this, negative things are going to be happening, and to possibly step in and be a cause for change within their fellow students. And we believe that students are an underutilized resource. Safe School Ambassadors really is about creating upstanders, not bystanders. When you think about it, think about a big fight where something might be going on or a big ruckus of some kind. And so what do you get? You get a large group of students standing around in a group. So you've got a couple of combatants. You've got possibly a couple people that might be helpful in trying to restore a little bit of calm. And then you got about 80 people often just, kind of going crazy. And the idea of an upstander is we get more people in the nucleus of this event that are going to push it out and push out the positive influence. And we pick alpha leaders, and they're identified through surveys. The criteria for selection is they have to be strong and influential in their group, they have to have good communication skills, and they have to have a history of standing up for their peers. Now, these are not necessarily all the traditionally highly motivated groups. They're everything. They're every group. And we know we got a lot of cliques, we have a lot of groups. So this includes all of those, and it's an amazing thing, and I've witnessed some of it when I've gone watched some of the training. You'll always get a couple of kids at the end of the line when they go through and they do this little exercise. And they start off with easy questions like who likes music, who likes country music, and it keeps dropping down. Some of you have heard this before. And by the time they get to the end, they get to the hard questions. And they say, who on this campus has been bullied? And so many of them step forward. 5, 6, 7 maybe. Who on this campus, in this group of people, who among you has bullied somebody? And like 3 of them step forward. And 2 of them were young guys that again, I'm guessing we're not in the most positive light, probably seen it all the time. But they looked at each other and they took a chance, because you could tell it was a risk for them doing it. And they stepped forward. On the other end of the line, a young lady that couldn't weigh 80 pounds. She was a junior high school student, and she couldn't weigh 80 pounds. And she stepped out and admitted that she had bullied somebody. And this was an impactful thing, because when they finished, they then went back into the training room, and I walked in with them. And those of you that have had the pleasure of being around junior high school students, you know that it's herding cats when you move them from one place to the next. And these kids went back in that room, and there was just a collective when they sat down. The air just left the room. And these kids all knew something had just happened. And that to me was one of the most telling and moving things I've seen in this, because you just knew from there, and that was a turning point in the instruction. The program consists of a 2-day interactive training course. The first year it's introduced to a campus, it's a 2-day program. The next year it's a 1-day program for the returning people, and the second day is for the new people, and then they sort of train each other as they go along. The skills that it provides are to resolve conflicts, diffuse incidents, support isolated and excluded students. It's reinforced by small group meetings every few weeks. They actually do data collection. They actually count the number of interventions that they have. They're asked to record them and turn them in, and we collect that data. Safe School Ambassadors is a highly recognized and successful program, having won many awards. It's throughout our country. It's international, and it's growing at a fast clip. It's a sustainable model that's a year-round program, and research has shown that it has an immediate impact as well as lasting measurable results. But again, what I want you to see, what's different about this than many other kind of training programs, is they're not just sharing information, they're really changing hearts, and they're really getting into these kids' hearts and minds, and letting them become the agent for change. All right, thank you.
Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Eunice Castaños. I am a counselor with the MTSSB program. I'm at Calero, Butterfield Elementary, and Eagle Canyon Elementary.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Campos. I'm also an intervention counselor, and I am at Anna Bourbon, Levi Dickey, and Magnolia Junior High.
So to go through what we want to talk to you guys today. As part of the MTSSB program, we of course have now started with, we actually started year 1 with 1 counselor and 4 schools. And we grew year 2 with 4 counselors full-time, 2 counselors part-time, and 15 schools. And this year that we're in year 3, we have grown to 11 counselors and 28 schools. So you've seen how this program has grown, and we're able to target now and service 100% hopefully of the student population in K through 8. We also have, you've seen that last year in year 2 of the program, we delivered 210 guidance lessons, and we've serviced, if you see one of the points too, 1,404 students through small group services. So we expect that this year that we're in year 3 and we've exponentially grown, then you've seen that number grown as well. Now, one of the parts is that I want to highlight is that, just like Dr. Johnson said, we assist schools with data collection and progress monitoring. And so not only are we there in the classroom delivering lessons, we're also working with the administration team and the teachers to collect the data to support our findings and to inform our services with the students. Because we want to fully and implement this program with fidelity and expertise, you've hired counselors that come with a PPS credential. And that means that it gives us an authorization to work in school counseling with students. Individuals that have a PPL also are allowed to do social work, school psychology, and child welfare and attendance. However, we come with a school counseling background. The state of California also authorizes through that credential for us to develop, plan, implement, and evaluate a school counseling program, which is what we're doing at the elementary and middle schools through the MTSSB program. We also advocate for high academic achievement and social development. So that means that whatever we're implementing in the classroom, ultimately, we're seeking for students to be able to perform at a higher academic level if we support their social and emotional well-being. We also provide school-wide prevention and intervention strategies. So with the MTSSB program, ultimately, it's prevention and intervention for students. We also supervise district-approved advisory programs, so we support the teachers and the administration in supporting the students through this program. Now, as school counselors, we're represented by ASCA at the national level, which is the Academic School Counselor Association, and CAST, which is a California association. But we wanted to highlight that we are education professionals with an emphasis in mental health, but we are also held to ethical standards. And one of the main things that I wanted to highlight is that we support students and we work towards socially just outcomes for our students. And we act as leaders, advocates, collaborators, and systemic change agents. So we represent the students. We're advocates for the students, and we also advocate for teachers and how they're going to represent and work with the students. We also promote the development and delivery of a counseling program that is comprehensive in scope, so we don't just target one area. It's comprehensive, and we prevent and design and developmental in nature.
So we've heard about Tier 1 tonight, our PBS support, changing our climate at our schools to a more positive look. That's through our second step curriculum that our teachers are teaching, and then through PBS, our school-wide expectations by location, our be respectful, be safe, and be responsible. So now Tier 2, as intervention counselors, we look at our data, and as a team with our school sites, we refer students to a STEP meeting, and at that STEP meeting we meet with the parents and we develop a goal for the student that are being recommended for a Tier 2 intervention. In this goal, we work with the students for 6 to 8 weeks in a Tier 2 intervention, and we pull them out of class 1 day a week for 30 minutes, and we coordinate with our teachers on an appropriate time to pull out our students. Usually in our small groups it's about 6 to 8 students, sometimes a little bit less, just depending on the need of our sites. And the important piece of our Tier 2, well, through our whole program, is data collection. So through our Tier 2 and Tier 3 intervention, we are constantly collecting data, progress monitoring with the teacher. So we're working with the teacher as a team to see if the student is improving in their behavior or what we need to do to help support them. We use a evidence-based curriculum called Connecting with Others for our Tier 2, and that's for grades K through 8. These are the different skill areas that we teach them. The foundational skills are, we learn about the me, so we learn about the different feelings that we have. When we're impulsive, when we're enthusiastic, our boss me, or caring me, or thinking me, those are our main needs that we teach our students. And we teach them what does it look like to be aggressive, not assertive, or passive, and assertive. And we teach them how we highlight we want to be assertive at school, and it's going to help us build to be the best that we can be. And we use our thinking steps. So our thinking steps is helping us make good choices, make good plans in our everyday lives. So those are our main ideas that we focus on. And then depending on the goals that we develop for the students, we choose from different skill areas, and then according to the grade level. So it can be about communication or sharing or conflict resolution. And and please refer to your binders that were given to you. It has more information on the specific lessons that are in the skill areas in our curriculum. But that's our Tier 2. Our Tier 3 is similar, same process of having a STEP meeting for the student developing a goal. Tier 3 is a little bit more intensive, so we are seeing the student for 10 to 12 weeks, pulling them out 1 day a week for 30 minutes. And the groups are a little bit smaller, so they can range from 4 to 6 students, and we progress monitor in Tier 3 as well. It's also an evidence-based curriculum that we use. We use Strong Start for K through 2 and Strong Kids for grades 3 through 8. And we look at different areas, again, looking at the goals that we are developing as a team in these STEP meetings. And the areas can be goal setting for the students, coping skills, they're learning how to be resilient. There's a lot of different skills that they're learning in this Tier 3 curriculum. And it's 10 to 12 weeks. This is a sample of our grades 3 through 5 curriculum from Strong Kids. So weeks 1 through 12, those would be the lessons that we teach our students. And again, you can refer to the binders, which has more information, more detailed information on those lessons.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
I love this program. I've been shouting out since last year about character building in our school district, and this exactly matches that factor. And I was watching carefully. These are great kids from OPA and Walnut here in the front. They've been all respectful. I know this is a long meeting, but you guys are awesome, and I think you guys are being taught right, so thank you. But I think, yes, we have these high goals and agenda as a parents and stakeholders that our kids would achieve and achieve their excellence in education and attend the best college they can go to or access to the best jobs they can hold to. That's our dream. But however, our education, I believe, is making a whole person complete. And as you said, it has come from inside out. That's a character. And I was thinking, what if, I mean, I know there are several teachers here too. Bring this out to our parents too, the community. If you're respectful to your family members, your children, and be responsible, we just are going to improve as a society, as a country, as a nation. And things could start small, from little people. But these little students, little kids, they know so much too. And I think this is the right path that you guys have chosen. And it's such a blessing that we have this program. And you have worked very hard, I can see that. And it's working. Our wonderful administrators at Eagle Canyon, Mrs. Warner and Mr. Rigger, I know you guys really reach out to the kids on a daily basis. And thank you. And it's going to work. It's going to work. It's a win-win situation. And again, I said the children are children. When I see OPA and Walnut kids, I don't see any difference. They're very important. Matter of fact, you guys are more important than the President Obama. I'll tell kids that we are, as old people, we're the descending sun. But you guys are the rising suns. You guys are our hope. And then we want you to be respectful and be responsible and be safe. And one day, become a leader. So thank you. Thank you for all the staffs and doing an awesome job. And I'm so happy tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Roscoe.
Well, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I remember back when it was first being introduced and we talked about tiers, and I remember being very interested in it. The one thing that I appreciate about this is focusing on the positive. And I noticed that at the very beginning you talked about, instead of saying, don't do this, you reinforce positive, and I think that makes a world of difference. And so that was the one thing that just stood out with me. You didn't show the little tag at the end. I really like this little, so I'm just going to read it because I thought it was great. It says a great attitude, because we always talk about attitudes, right? So a great attitude becomes a great mood, which becomes a great day, which becomes a great year, which becomes a great life. And it's true, attitude is everything. And so thank you for the presentation.
Ms. Blair?
On page 21, it indicates that for Tier 2 and Tier 3, you assist schools with data collection and progress monitoring. And do you meet with administration, and what happens then with that progress monitoring? What occurs?
Well, there are various levels of progress monitoring, but the main progress monitoring is done 3 times a year, where we're actually meeting with the administration, looking at discipline referrals, we're looking at suspension rates, expulsion rates, looking at discipline referrals based on location. So are there more referrals that are happening maybe at lunch? And if there are more concerns at lunch, then doing more instruction in that area. So that really helps drive reinforcing those expectations. And then we utilize the data from our universal screening that's done 3 times a year and look at reductions in the numbers of kids that might be identified as perhaps needing some more support. So we're looking at those numbers. Within the actual tiered intervention, we're doing progress monitoring weekly. So we have teachers reporting as well as the intervention counselors reporting, and then we're utilizing that data to look at our goals that we set that are measurable to
Okay.
determine if students have met the goal.
Perfect, thank you. I too appreciate this presentation and, to see how it has developed. And, but I would really like to see that data collection that you have, even if just a sample from a few school sites. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
And the multi-tier system, I mean, the greatest impact is the school counselors and the social work for the Tier 2 and Tier 3. I just want you to review, and that is that, what is the advantage of having school counselors? Because you could imagine in the new, who knows in the future, that they would change over to non-trained people to cover this. And the importance to be consistent, having people that are trained. How do you feel about that? If they ever did do that, change?
Gosh, even the thought of that just makes me shudder a bit. We're dealing with students, their emotionality, their social development, their developing character traits, shaping them into, our future adults. And folks that have been trained, I'm a school psychologist by training, and, the thought of not having people that are skilled to intervene with students, to teach, I'm sort of speechless. I can't even imagine that happening.
No, I agree as well.
We really need to have trained folks out there working with our future generation. I wouldn't ever want to take a chance that we would not.
No. Yeah, I agree.
train.
My wife is a school counselor.
Okay.
And knowing that you got theory, you got a way to
Oh, it's the
approach,
theory.
and at the same time laws. But you could imagine,
Yeah.
because maybe
Right.
budget issues, that they could
Well,
switch.
all of the programs are evidence-based,
Yeah.
so, it does require an understanding of what evidence-based intervention is. And I really think that in the hands of folks that aren't trained, you would lose a
And I
lot
would
of
think-
that evidence-based intervention.
And for this to work, counselors, psychologists, and social workers are so much involved in this thing. So,
Exactly.
good job. Thank you. Thank you.
One last piece I want to address for the board too. We're actually going to have an outside consultant come in and do some work with us to evaluate this program, because we always want to improve on it. And our next step along with that is taking that program to the high school. And what does that look like? And we haven't figured that out yet, but that's going to be some of the work in our next steps with the outside consultants who are experts in this field to help us improve and self-evaluate the program and develop another action plan of how we're going to move and continue to move this program forward. So I just wanted to share with the board on that. And when that comes, we'll come back to you guys and share our progress in probably about a year or so with you. All right? Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Joseph?
Yes, I know we've talked a lot about concerns about our children, especially dealing with bullying and some other issues. This is important that the community knows what we're doing every day at our schools to really reach out to our kids on a social, emotional level, because it is important. And the past 3 years, we have built this program to have the kind of efficacy you see today. So I thank Dr. Enfield and his team, and Anna and Sherry for what they've done, because it's been a yeoman's work that they've done over the last 3 years. So we thank you.
Thank you. Next are employee representatives. Todd Hancock, ACT.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak. Again, I want to recognize Townsend. I wish we could have had their entire band here, because when you see a junior high with 100+ And then you know how we are, this district, we are the top district in the state of California, if not the United States, in performing arts. Whether it's band, drama, choir, whatever the case may be, we are the example to at least the state of California, if not more. And so, again, it shows I don't know if you heard it, but the one trumpet, and he was right on, and it sounded really nice. I just was impressed. So I really appreciate listening and seeing the talent of our students. And again, remind you of the talent of the teacher that's there to put it all together. They could all play great in their own way, but it's not until they come together and play together by the teacher or the conductor. That's what makes it work. Just to remind you that there's some issues we ought to think about a little bit, and that is our SLPs, our speech language pathologists. We need to do better in recruiting, lowering caseloads for them. It is really important for our students and the services, especially when we see MTSS B. They play a role in that, and we need to make sure we're out doing all of that. I want to thank Norm and the district in inviting. For this year, as president of the association, I've been invited to a couple of principals meetings, and I've been able to sit among the principals and listen and then participate in our CLR program, where we went and did some visiting. And so last Monday we went and visited, and I was asked to go and be with the 3 principals and visit Rolling Ridge. If my secondary teachers will forgive me for a minute, I was blown away by how well those teachers were teaching the classes. We visited at least 2 classes at every level, K through 6. The behavior was awesome. The kids were engaged. If you're in kindergarten, they're training the kids, so it's almost a culture, if you would, because every class was run very similar. And the teachers were just incredible. I was so impressed. And I've visited classes over the years being president, but we had a purpose, and we were looking at this purpose and seeing where we are and our emphasis. And I was just totally impressed. So I want to, and my vice president went and visited a site as well. He came back and we said exactly the same things. Whatever happens at the district office or whatever happens in the union world or whatever, yeah, we can deal with all of that. But in the classroom, things are happening. It is absolutely impressive and awesome to see what our elementary teachers are doing in the classroom. And I personally want to do a shout out for what they do. Parents, your students are being educated in our classrooms, and you have dedicated teachers who have their best interest, modify, change, adapt in the situations to meet whatever the students need. And I'm just telling you, come visit a classroom with me. It is very, very impressive. I have a couple of quotes. I haven't used quotes in a while, so I decided to bring a couple of quotes. Marcus Aurelius said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." And Leo Tolstoy said, "Truth, like gold, is to be obtained not by its growth, but by washing away from all that is not gold." I'll let you think about that one for a little bit. The last couple of weeks or last couple of board meetings, we seem to be getting away from what we matter most in the boardroom. There's been a lot of statements about political processes, what's going on, what's right, what's not right. Focus on, well, the union's this or the that and all this other stuff. I'm just going to say bluntly, this meeting is not for political grandstanding. It is for our students. Thank you.
Denise Oro, CSEA.
Good evening. I do want to comment on the kids from Townsend. I just love to watch the band. This is why parents bring their students to Chino. This is because of the arts, of the extracurricular that we have in our district. Okay, people come and move to Chino to come to Chino Unified School District. So with that, tonight I will be short and sweet. Don't know how sweet, but it'll be short. I won't be on my soapbox tonight. I will save that for another day. But I have a lot of thank yous, okay? Thank you to Dr. Park and Dr. Infield. Yes, you, Dr. Infield. For listening to me about the Paraeducator Conference. Dr. Infield called me the next day after I had my little soapbox about the Paraeducator Conference. So I could not have had a faster response. With that said, the district will be sending more instructional aides this coming year to the Paraeducator Conference, so thank you very much. I attended a CSEA leadership conference this weekend. The number one topic was Prop 55. We received information as to what districts were supporting Prop 55, and I'm happy and proud to say Chino was listed among the districts, and that speaks volumes to the state association. So very proud, okay? With that, I'm going to be passing out buttons. And Mr. Joseph and Mr. Statura, I want to say thank you for coming to our chapter meeting to discuss the bond and answer questions from our members. They appreciate it, and I appreciate it as well. Thank you.
No, I don't want it. No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Tom McAsee, Champ.
President Cruz, board members, Mrs. Farley asked me to take her place tonight, so we'll just have a few words on her behalf. Todd will do the quotes again. I'll have to think of some quotes the next time I come. So, but researcher Angela Duckworth defines grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. This goes hand in hand with Carol Dweck's concept of a growth mindset that we've talked about here before. The foundation of success of our students here in Chino Valley is the grit of all staff, CSEA, ACT, and CHAMP, working together. CHAMP would like to highlight the grit of your administrative team. Our administrators are tasked to do many things, and they dig deep to accomplish these things with grit. In the military, it takes a lot of grit to survive boot camp. At West Point, approximately 20% of cadets fail to finish. Well, likewise, it takes a lot of grit to survive in educational leadership. Your administrative team has it at all levels, that they have grit. Here's why. We create leaders. We take the time to look at our staff and bring out and develop those skills that'll bring our schools to excellence. We create short and long-term goals. We create vision and mission statements that define who we are in Chino Valley. We invest time in deep learning. We understand the importance of failing intelligently. We use data, as was shown earlier, to monitor progress on all levels, and we create a culture of inquiry within our school's community. We work smarter to sustain positive momentum. We ensure all students will learn. We treat people with respect. We create a safe, healthy learning environment. We take accountability by the use of self-evaluations. We have a commitment to change. We celebrate success, both large and small. We create a community of learning to embrace change. And lastly, we build networks. We learn from others, we promote PLCs, and we understand the power of networking. In closing, our administrators do this job with passion and perseverance. The administrators in your Chino Valley have grit. Thank you.
We're now at comments. Pat, are there any requests?
7 requests to speak on non-agenda items.
Speakers will be called in the order the request was received. Please listen for your name and prepare to approach the podium. Any comments on the agenda item will be accepted during consideration of that item. Once that board has commenced deliberations on a particular issue, speaker cards will not be accepted. The board is very interested in your comments, but please bear in mind that the board typically does not respond to comments during this time on the agenda, as it is reserved specifically for public comments. Individual members may respond during board comments at the end. Ms. Fikes?
Speakers, you have 3 minutes in which to make your comments. Please begin your comments at the green light. The yellow light indicates you have 30 seconds in which to complete your comments. The red light indicates your time is over. And before you begin your comments, please adjust the microphone as necessary so you can be clearly heard. And audience members, please refrain from making comments while speakers are at the podium, as it's disrespectful and disruptive.
Speakers, please remember that in accordance with Board Bylaw 9323, Bylaws of the Board Meeting Conduct, limit remarks to 3 minutes total for all remarks. If a topic has been covered, please limit remarks to new points. The board would like to remind you that there is an existing board policy, 1312.1. For anyone who wishes to file a complaint against a district employee, please follow that procedure. Listen for your name and be prepared to approach the podium as your name is called. No speaker shall exceed the 3-minute limit. The first speaker is Dr. Mark Bay, followed by Pastor Chuck, followed by Liz Avila.
Good evening, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Mark Bay, and I serve as a executive officer of the Board of Directors for the San Bernardino County Medical Society. I'm also an officer of the California Medical Association and am a family doctor who actively practices at Kaiser Permanente here in our county. On a personal note, I'm also happy to share that I have the privilege of moving my practice to the brand new Kaiser Permanente clinic right here in the city of Chino, currently being built at the intersection of the 71 freeway and Grand Avenue. When it opens in May, I invite everyone in the community to come and visit us. This year, we have a chance together to give our students the gift of healthier lives and futures by supporting one of the most important propositions that has come along in years. Passage of Prop 56, sponsored by the Save Lives Coalition, has the power to dramatically decrease the detrimental effects of smoking, tobacco use, and addictions upon our teens, families, and communities. But we must agree to stand up to big tobacco and not believe the false advertisements that are currently being aired in opposition to this proposition. Tonight, I'm presenting you with a proposed resolution in support of tobacco taxes for health and education, which embraces the Yes on 56 position. Our medical society is proud to support Prop 56. It's an initiative that will significantly increase funding for tobacco prevention programs to keep kids from smoking before cancer, heart disease, and decay set in. This will also increase funding for health education for students, funding for health care for our low-income patients, including children of a parent who might be a victim of domestic violence or a senior who lives alone in need of skilled nursing, and funding for a long overdue expansion of medical residency positions for graduating medical students to keep more physicians in California. Prop 56 increases the tax on cigarettes and e-cigarettes by $2 per pack and is supported by many prominent organizations and individuals, including the California Board Association, the California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Torlakson, the California Medical Association, the Service Employees International Union, the Cancer Action Network, the California Dental Association, the American Heart Association, and the American Lung Association, amongst many others. Our medical society is respectfully asking for your support in endorsing this resolution. The endorsement of Prop 56 by the Chino Valley Unified School District is a critical signal to our citizens that this measure will be in the best interests of our students and community. Every student who wishes to practice medicine in our state will benefit from this initiative. Every student and family member who relies on Medi-Cal for their health care will benefit from this initiative. And every student who doesn't start a lifetime addiction to tobacco through cigarettes or e-cigarettes will enjoy a future of health benefits. In short, this is literally about saving the lives of our teens so that they will have the opportunity to grow into productive, healthy young adults and be given a fighting chance to succeed in their lives. It's about the health and hope for our students and communities. So thank you tonight for your time, outreach, and dedication. I wish you all good health.
I'm sorry you're out of time.
I wish you all good health.
Pastor Chuck, followed by Liz Avila, followed by Eugene Smith.
Hello, school board and those in attendance. I am just thoroughly impressed by the work that you are doing. I've seen you on videos and I've been watching in the back room, and just I'm so impressed with the behavioral modification that they're doing in the schools. And like Mr. Na said, we're the descending group, and I wish I could have that program at our church because those people need it, and I'm looking forward for the ascending group to come. But my name is Pastor Chuck Canizaro of New Heart Foursquare Church in Covina, and I appreciate you giving me a few times just to offer a word of prayer to you, to encourage you in the work that you're doing. I know you're good people, doing a good work, and it's a good thing. So I just want to encourage you with prayer. You know, George Washington said, the president, it's impossible to rightly govern a nation without God and the Bible. And the Bible clearly states that we should pray for our leaders, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life. And I like the way that you're addressing the children so that we can have a quiet and peaceable life. So if you bow your heads, let me offer this prayer to you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of allowing us to come into your presence, to make requests to you and ask for your grace. So we come before you tonight to ask that you would grant us wisdom and understanding on how to accomplish the things that are before us. We acknowledge that you know all things, that you can bring all things to the light and give us full and complete knowledge of every situation that we're facing. We ask you to impart to us the right actions that needed to be taken. Lord, we pray for these men and women here tonight that have given their time and part of their life to see the success of teaching our children. We ask you to bless their homes because of their sacrifices that they have given to make our homes peaceful and prosperous. And of course, we pray for the children that in our schools, that you would protect them and teach them in the way that they should go. And finally, Lord, grant us the grace to know you better and to experience the love that you have for us and how you gave your Son to us for your well-being. We ask you to grant all of these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you.
Liz Avila, followed by Eugene Smith, followed by Sharon Duran. Liz Avila.
Hello. Thank you for allowing us to have this time for me to speak. I want to first start by thanking Mr. Na and Mr. Cruz for all of the long work, hard work, and dedication to this community. As a resident of Chino Hills and my lawful right as a United States citizen, I decided to come out here and pray on June 16, 2016. I was the only one who prayed on that day. I went home that night and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice to have more people come out and pray? So I took it upon myself, to start making the phone calls and letting people like my friends come out and pray. People like Pastor Jesse Soto, Danielle Brooks, Pastor Gil, Bobby, Joe, Tony, Pastor Chuck, and Pastor Robert Reed, and many more. At our last school board meeting, Ms. Greathouse from the Concerned Parents came up here and made some false accusations against Mr. Na and Mr. Cruz, saying that they had helped organize a group of prayer warriors to come up here to pray. I am here to set the record straight. That is not true. I am the one that's responsible for bringing people to pray, because I believe that's our right to do so. And because that was put in my heart as well. I am here to publicly state and clarify that it is me bringing these people, not Mr. Na, nor Mr. Cruz. Okay, I'm sorry. So therefore, I just, that was in my heart to come and speak to everybody about that. And if anybody has a question or would like to speak to me afterwards, that's fine. You know, I'm here. I mean, whatever you guys need, just, speak to me, So as for me and my family and my household, we will clearly support Mr. Na, Mr. Cruz, and Mia Ontiveros with our vote this coming November 8th. They are faithful, true, and genuine, very approachable, and they take the time to answer any questions that you might have. Never do they make you feel rushed or pushed away. I personally have seen them with my kids, and my kids adore them and love them. Therefore, my vote goes to Mr. Na, Mr. Cruz, and Ms. Mia Ontiveros. And gracias por este momento. Nomás le digo a mi público que vamos a estar orando y pidiéndole al Señor que para que noviembre 8 esté elegido por la mesa de directivos escolares Mr. James Na, Mr. Andrew Cruz y la señorita Mia Ontiveros. Gracias.
I'm sorry.
Eugene Smith, followed by Sharon Duran, followed by Leanne Blanchard.
Hi, my name is Eugene Smith. I'm a history and science teacher at Woodcrest, and this is actually a nice segue with the previous speaker. There's a survey that came out on Facebook this past week, and it's entitled Chino Valley Unified School Board 2016. When I looked at it, I noticed that there's a list of six prospective school board members going across the top, a list of 11 questions going on the side. I noticed that there's three candidates, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Na, and Mia Ontiveros, who voted the exact same way on every one of the 11 questions. I also noticed a group, Don Bridge, Ms. Hernandez Blair, and Mr. Joe Schaefer, who declined to answer. And I was curious about that until I saw the questions, because there's two questions on abortions, there's transgender bathroom issue, same-sex marriages, legalization of recreational marijuana, and my personal favorite, the Jewish people's right to the land of Israel. So I'm just kind of curious about those, because I don't think those are issues that really are in the purview of a school board member. There are some questions on here that I do have for Mr. Na and Mr. Cruz. Number one, the financing of political activities by employee unions through automatic deductions from members' paychecks. That's a federal decision. That was a United States Supreme Court decision that allowed us to have the right to have a union. So, and I'm kind of curious about that, because it seems that if we're trying to make a bridge to the school board and the union, but we have school board members that are denying us even the right to exist, that's going to be hard to make that bridge. Number three, the growth of qualified charter schools in the school district. When a charter school comes in, they do take away resources from the public school sector. So it seems to me that's kind of a conflict of interest for a school board member to actually say they're in favor of a charter school coming into a school district. The number five, though, is a big one, because it says that parents' right to opt their student out of Common Core assessments and tests. Every teacher in this district is involved in a tremendous amount of training, a tremendous amount of resources are being used, a tremendous amount of time and effort is being used to implement Common Core in the classroom. And that statement about allowing parents to opt out of Common Core assessment really cuts us off at the knees, because we're doing all this work here, and yet we have school board members over here, with all due respect, of course, but we have school board members over here saying it's all right for parents to say you don't have to have your parent tested. So I would rather see issues like security, issues on the budget. We have issues about having enough paper at school sites. So, and these are, of course, rhetorical questions, but I would like to hear more from you guys on this. Thank you for your time.
Sharon Duran, followed by Leanne Blanchard, followed by Pastor Chuck Canizaro.
Ready? Good evening, board members. My name is Sharon Duran. First, I want to thank you for allowing my student to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. He was very excited for that. Towards the end of the last meeting, Mr. Roscoe actually addressed a couple codes, the AR 411 9.25 code and the Ed Code 7054. I just wanted to specify myself specifically. I was at a few back-to-school nights, not just my homeschool, but a few others. supporting the candidates that I support personally. So I just wanted to make that clear that it's not just the staff. And these codes specifically do not pertain to myself as a parent. I've read them in detail, and it's for staff. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that not all of them were staff. There was a lot of parents also that I actually met, a lot of other parents from other schools. So that was nice, actually. Also, I wanted to thank the people that came out for the Safe School Ambassadors in Eagle Canyon. My niece actually goes to that school, and she's part of the Safe School Ambassadors program. She's super proud and happy with that school. She can never stop talking about it because she knows how involved I am at our school. You know, I'm always going to her for her ideas from a student at other schools, you know. So what do you guys do? What do you like about this? You know, things that we can potentially implement in our school or throw them out there. So that's really nice. And also with the intervention programs, there's also, I just wanted to bring up, like, this year we had to be referred to that because we had an emergency, which if it wasn't for this program, I don't know what we would have done with myself and my 2 students in the district. And luckily, our principal referred us to the right people. We were able to get counseling. We got a call from the counselors like within that same week. And I think thanks to that, the next time there was an incident, my son specifically knew what to do. He felt our lives were at risk, felt threatened, and he knew to call the police. Like, and I don't know if that first time around with the counseling that gave him that, you know, support system that he needed, and he knew what to do for, you know, if that ever occurred. So I'm really grateful for that program, even at our school now. He just told me they started the counseling at the school, which is awesome. I know we need that right now, and I'm so happy to know that it's being implemented at so many other schools. There's so many other kids need a lot of support for their behavior, and it's not just because they're being bad. There's a lot of things at home that we don't know about that, you know what I mean, it's helped, like I said, personally, our family so much. And I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Leanne Blanchard, followed by Pastor Chuck Canizaro.
Good evening, board, and all members. I'm glad to be here tonight. I just felt in my heart that I just wanted to say a little bit about our campus, share a little bit about what we're like. I'm coming on my own, happened kind of spontaneously this afternoon, but I just felt on my heart I wanted to share with you guys. We just recently got T-shirts, and on the back, I want to share that we were named the Campus of Hope by one of our students. In 2012, the beginning of his senior year, a former student greeted me when I was volunteering at the grad night booth during registration. And I asked him, as I do all my students, are you excited about graduation? Are you ready? And he said, I don't think I'm going to graduate. So I encouraged him to come to our campus or to talk to his counselor and come out and see us and see what we could do. When he started getting his classes done via classes in IS, credit recovery, ROP, adult school, he made it happen. But in the midst of his journey, he happily exclaimed that the AEC is the school of hope, where something can happen for him, for a student who felt like he had nothing, like he wasn't going to graduate. Since we are a program and not a school, we are called the Campus of Hope. There, under the direction of Dr. Preston Carr, we collaborate and think critically about how to get the student to school success academically, but also emotionally and socially, and on to graduation. We communicate with each other, with the parents, and of course with the student. We have to be creative, but also have to keep in mind that the walk is ultimately the students. We contribute to our comprehensive high school's graduation successes, but more importantly, we equip our students for the next leg of life. We love supporting our students in district. We are CVUSD Alternative Ed, the Campus of Hope. Thank you.
Pastor Chuck Canizaro. Pastor Chuck Canizaro. It's different information. Okay. This is it.
Okay, let's take a 3-minute break. Thank you. Action items. Please announce the first item.
No, changes and deletions.
Oh, changes and deletions.
The following change is on the agenda, item 3D1, page 40, Educational Services, School-Sponsored Trips, Ayala High School, Big Bear Bonding, under Fiscal Impact. Correct cost to read, $140.
We're now at action items. Please announce the first one.
Item 2A1, public hearing regarding Oxford Preparatory Academy, Los Serranos Charter School petition.
Recommend the Board of Education conduct a public hearing regarding the Oxford Preparatory Academy, Los Serranos Charter School petition. I now open the public hearing regarding the Oxford Preparatory Academy, Los Serranos Charter School petition at 8:40 p.m. Are there any requests to speak?
12 requests to speak.
Thank you.
The first speaker is Mary Hancock, followed by Julio Alvarado, followed by Jared McLeod.
First, I want to congratulate OPA, teachers, students, and parents for being ranked #1 elementary school in the county. You have clearly done your homework, and the data shows that. After reading a recent article regarding OPA's desire to expand, coupled with the previous failure to get their current charter renewed, sadly, other key players in your school's success have not done their homework. The site formerly known as Los Serranos Elementary was not closed down last year for declining enrollment. Since 2010, the site has been opened as the Alternative Education Center, and it is thriving. As a longtime citizen and educator in Chino Valley, I felt compelled to come here to inform the parents, teachers, and students of OPA of what is already happening at the site that their current admin are petitioning to take. First, what is the need for alternative education? Well, as years go by, sometimes students who had a huge head start in their education lose their way due to the increasing pressure to perform well. This pressure causes extreme anxiety, and they stop moving forward and need help. Or they need a flexible plan to allow them to compete or perform. At the AEC, we have educated professional actresses and actors, amateur athletes, and budding musicians. Some of the students also lose their way due to devastating health issues, family struggles, or they need the flexibility that our program provides so they can obtain a job and help support their families. And finally, those students who have always struggled and are trying hard to catch up and have some of the same problems that the other students I've already mentioned keep getting further and further behind. They become discouraged and they want to drop out. Each teacher at the Alternative Education Center is here to find where these unique students are on their path to graduate, and we help them reach their goal by earning their diploma. We are the Campus of Hope. We do this through various types of district-approved curriculum, intensive collaboration between core content teachers, and by maintaining a positive learning environment. There is a great need in every district for a high-quality alternative education program. At the AEC, we educate thousands of students each year through our on-campus and credit recovery programs. This number far exceeds the proposed amount of students OPA has petitioned to service. Our site educates and services those students who are at the highest risk, including foster youth, low socioeconomic students, and those on the verge of dropping out of school. Additionally, we provide extended community services through the CVSD's Move Forward program, which provides life skills, job training, and placement, and assists with college entrance. We are the Campus of Hope, and we are located at the Alternative Education Center. If rankings were given out for alternative programs, we would be ranked #1 in the county and probably in the state. We have people from all over that come and see our campus and ask us how to improve theirs. We are the trailblazers, and we leave it a path for others to follow to help them all be successful. I encourage you not, I repeat, not, accept the petition to take over Los Serranos site. Thank you.
Julio Alvarado, followed by Jared McLeod, followed by Barbara Black.
Good evening, everyone. For some reason, I'm being brought up on this item, and I was asking to speak on a different item.
Okay, I didn't understand 1A2C.
Sorry, I was going off of your agenda and the outline of it. The item that I was actually hoping to speak about this evening is your closed session item regarding the federal case involving you're not being allowed to speak openly about religion during your meetings. So if you want me to hold and speak to that later, I don't have a problem. I don't want to take you guys off of your agenda.
Closed session's already taken place.
Okay, thank you. So, if I may, just get to my notes here.
Yeah, why don't we start over?
Sure, thank you. So, let me begin by thanking you, Honorable Board, for the opportunity to speak with you this evening and to the audience. My name is Julio Alvarado. I'm a government employee who has lived in the area for close to 30 years. I have a lovely wife of 16 years who couldn't be here because she was covering soccer practices for us. But we have 2 children that are in the district, and we're active in our school, haven't gotten involved in district issues, but this one just spoke to me and I felt I needed to come and share a few words. So I recently became aware of the court case ruling against the district earlier this year that prevents you as members of the board from openly speaking in this forum about your personal religious beliefs, and it did sadden me. It saddened me because it's crystal clear to me that the society that we're in is on a path that is not just chipping away at, but it's devouring, you know, the moral fiber of our community. And before I continue, I want to be clear. I've witnessed the evolution of our community, and it's very diverse. I mean, you can look around the room and you can see, you know, the many colors and backgrounds that now create, that now are this community. And so I embrace that wholly and just think that we are now the melting pot that we were intended to be. So, to why I'm here. I felt compelled to share with you that I do not agree that you, our elected officials, should be muzzled in such a way that you are prevented from being transparent with constituents with regard to where you draw knowledge, information in making decisions whether to support recommendations that come before you or introduce motions for actions on the part of the district. You should not be stopped at where you received education or where you have worked, but should also be able to identify and speak from whatever theology or doctrine you hold sacred. Ladies and gentlemen, in case there's a question running through your minds, I am a Christian, and we live in a Christian household. We believe in God. We believe that He sacrificed His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, by allowing Him to be sacrificed for the forgiveness of my sins and those of all mankind. For those who believe differently, I ask you to not dismiss or judge, but instead ponder this. Because I believe in God, I have chosen to live my life with more purpose than if I didn't. I'm not only accountable to myself and my family, but I also seek to please Him. I strive endlessly to live a law and commandment abiding life. I just simply want to say a quick prayer because I'm going to get shut down here. And that is that I thank you for providing this forum and asking that God speak into the hearts of those who are presiding over this meeting and this audience, that their intentions, decisions, and actions be only for the purpose of providing our children the best, most dynamic, and well-rounded education possible, one that teaches them that although we come from different backgrounds and belief systems, we are all part of
I'm
this
sorry, you're
community.
out of time.
Thank you.
Jared McLeod, followed by Barbara Black, followed by Greta Proctor.
Good evening, President Cruz, board members, Superintendent Joseph. I'm Jared McLeod, the Chief Operations Officer of Oxford Preparatory Academy. It is with a humble and a grateful heart that I'm able to address you all here tonight as we submit our new petition of Oxford Preparatory Academy, Los Serranos. OPA is a huge part of this community. Many of us cannot take one trip to the grocery store or sit on the sidelines of our kids' games without a question about, how can I get my kids into your school? This question is one received with great pride, and when asked, we take the time to explain the concepts of the charter school, highlights of being free of tuition, free of any entrance exams, and any other obstacle that would prevent a student or a parent from accessing the right of parent choice in the education of their child. The interest and attraction to the program comes in many shapes and forms. Maybe it's the multiple intelligence approach in learning and teaching, or the cute school uniforms, specialized activities such as music, science lab, foreign language classes, athletics, and most recently a new Lego club. However, academic achievement by all students is by far and wide what drives most parents to apply to our school. Most recently, on the 2016 CASP assessment, Chino Valley outperformed the district average in both ELA and mathematics, including the highest growth in the district in the area of mathematics. 85% of OPA students met or exceeded statewide standards. 73% met or exceeded statewide standards in mathematics, a one-year growth of over 14%. The recent academic success ranks Chino Valley as the top-performing charter school and the highest-performing K-8 school in San Bernardino County. Whichever the reason or collective sum of reasons for submitting an application for their children to Oxford Preparatory Academy, the eagerness, the joy of obtaining enrollment has unfortunately been met historically by a lofty wait list, overwhelming high interest, and a lottery that yields little opportunities for student placement. According to the 2015 report from the California Charter Schools Association, commonly referred to as CCSA, over 150,000 students currently sit on waiting lists in California for charter schools. Unfortunately, 900 of those numbers are from Chino Valley. This new charter petition would seek to eliminate any waiting list for parent choice in this community. In closing, I would be remiss not to take a moment here tonight to address the fact that issues raised by the CVUSD staff, board, and superintendent in regards to Chino Valley's renewal have been listened to, and thus addressed in this new charter and the revised charter petition that you will be voting on in the coming weeks. Updates include increases opportunity for parents and community involvement and leadership, very healthy and sound financial budgets, and the offering of a national school lunch program, as well as increase in our priority to dynamically recruit a diverse student population. As an organization, OPA is willing and prepared to take any steps necessary to address any issues that may be raised in the upcoming FCMAT audit. OPA acknowledges the name of OPA Los Serranos shows our intention of working with CVUSD to create a minimal displacement of current student and staff. We are willing to work with the district and the community to find a suitable wherever that may be. In summary, I thank this board and superintendent for their time.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
you're out of time.
Thank you.
Barbara Black, followed by Greta Proctor, followed by Fatima Cristerna Adami.
Good evening, President Cruz, fellow board members, and Superintendent Joseph. I'm Barbara Black, Executive Director of Oxford Preparatory Academy. It is my pleasure to be here tonight to ask the Chino Board to approve a new OPA K-8 charter school, OPA Los Serranos. In the spring of 2010, I oversaw the lottery for the approved OPA petition, the first and only Chino that has ever had. The lottery began at 9 a.m. and nearly 12 hours later was concluded. It took that many hours to pull the name cards for nearly 2,000 students that wanted a place in our new charter. There were shouts of joy from those who were placed, but many tears and sadness for those who were not placed. OPA opened the fall with packed classrooms. OPA exceeded its goals that first year and soon became a successful program with a wait list each year of hundreds of students. Now, while charter law clearly states that the growth of a charter school is not to be impeded, OPA was unable to grow its program. In 2012, with the OPA renewal, Superintendent Joseph and the OPA founder signed an agreement that OPA would not operate any new charters for the school during the years 2012 to June of 2017. OPA honored that agreement. For 5 years, though, parents and students in Chino Valley have asked us for the opportunity to attend our charter school. So on September 23, 2016, we submitted this petition to provide them a school of choice. Also, by submitting our petition that day, we were able to meet the deadline for the Public Charter Schools Grant Program. This we have received for all of our schools, and it would provide the funds for the OPA Los Serranos startup budget. Now, OPA's program is successful and is supported by many in the Chino Valley community. We believe providing our program in the Los Serranos area for the 2017-18 school year would allow students in that area to once again have a neighborhood school. There would also be openings for others interested in attending the OPA school. Now, the program at OPA is founded, the program that OPA is founded on works. It is proven. Chino Valley is a recipient and continues to benefit from the foundation of this program that was created and developed at Rolling Ridge Elementary, Country Springs Elementary, and Rhodes Elementary. While the administration and staff have changed over the years, the programs are still strong, which is evident by these schools continuing to be the top performing schools for Chino Valley. OPA is not one person, just like the 3 previous schools mentioned are not one person. OPA utilizes a program that works, a program that was brought to El Rancho Elementary and was able to bring that school out of program improvement in 2003.
Again, the program works. I've worked in Chino Valley for many years and have devoted my life to educating students. I know that you, along with myself and the parents of the Chino Valley, believe that educating the next generation is not only our top priority, but is our most important responsibility. Please make the right choice for students in Chino Valley. Give them a choice. Vote yes. Thank you.
You're out of time.
Greta Proctor, followed by Fatima Cristerna Adami, followed by Eric Hinks.
Good evening. My name is Greta Proctor, and I'm an attorney at Procopio. I represent Oxford Preparatory Academy. I want to reiterate that the charter petition that's before you tonight is for a new charter school. Under Education Code Section 47605, the governing board of a school district shall grant a charter if doing so is consistent with sound educational practice. Here, there can be no doubt as to the soundness of the educational program proposed by OPA, given OPA's remarkable academic success at its other charter schools. The legislative intent stated in the Charter Schools Act is for new charter schools to improve pupil learning, to increase educational options for all pupils and families, and to encourage innovation in teaching. As described in OPA's charter and as shown by OPA's history of high test scores and high community engagement in its other charter schools, this new school will accomplish all of these goals. Families in your community deserve the educational opportunity that's before you. Under the law, a school district's governing board shall not deny a new charter petition unless it makes findings of fact that are specific to this particular petition. We understand the board and the superintendent had concerns with OPA Chino Valley's charter, and we understand how complicated that relationship has become. OPA has worked hard to address your concerns and to be transparent with you and to listen to your issues. But I want to remind you that the charter before you now would be a new school, starting fresh next year. The concerns that this board had in March of 2016 about the current Chino school were about individuals who are no longer at OPA, contracts that have now been terminated, and governance issues that have been changed to meet your expectations. Those issues, which are about OPA's other school and which have been cured, do not form a legal basis for denial of this new charter. OPA has worked hard on this charter to build a petition that is reasonably comprehensive and that makes evident OPA's demonstrable likelihood of success. This charter more than meets the legal requirements that are set forth in Education Code Section 47605, and it is responsive to a need in this community for more of the proven educational program. This is a fresh petition that you can and should approve. This school wants to work with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Fatima Cristerna Adami, followed by Eric Hinks, followed by Anthony Gibson.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members, community, and parents who couldn't make it inside the room. My name is Fatima Cristerna Adame, and I am the Regional Director in the Inland Empire for the California Charter Schools Association. I represent the association in highly recommending the approval for Oxford Preparatory Academy Los Serranos campus as a Chino Valley Unified School District authorized charter school. The California Charter Schools Association is a membership and professional organization serving the vast majority of public charter schools in the state of California. Our mission is to increase student achievement by strengthening and expanding public charter schools throughout the state. We believe that OPA is doing just that for students not only in Chino, but throughout Southern California. The association has been working with OPA Chino Valley and its additional campuses over the last 6 years and know them to be a great charter school group. We believe that their new OPA Los Serranos campus meets the legal, education, and fiscal requirements for district approval. We are confident that the school is offering a quality choice to families throughout Southern California. OPA Chino Valley is the highest performing public school in the county with over 1,200 students in its program. The school and its leadership, loved by parents, has a current wait list of over 900 students. Every child has the right to a high-quality education of choice, and families throughout the Inland Empire are anxious at the opportunity to send their children to OPA and OPA Los Serranos. Many of these families have been on the wait list at OPA Chino for years due to the school's high demand. CCSA understands and appreciates the intricacies of being an authorizer and the challenges that comes with that job, and we appreciate the work from your school district and staff as an authorizing entity for the Chino Valley campus and hopefully the Los Serranos campus and its families. Therefore, the association urges you to authorize the new OPA Los Serranos campus and allow OPA to continue delivering the high-quality education and operate as an authorized charter school of the district. Should you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to call myself as a local representative or CCSA. And on a personal note, I want you to know that my area covers Riverside, San Bernardino County, and I oversee over 60 charter schools, and I help them all. And it is my privilege to be here before you tonight because I don't get to say this very often, and that is before a board who took a chance on a small school, and now you have the highest performing public school in the county. That is a huge opportunity for your district and for this area. We have lots of successful charter schools all over the Inland Empire, but this is the first time that I get to stand before the district who has the highest academically performing one. And I'm very proud of that because as I've done my job over the last 4 years, it is not always that I get to stand before boards that are courageous and take leaps of faith for their families and provide them with the quality education that they want and deserve. Thank you so much.
Eric Hinks, followed by Anthony Gibson, followed by Ahmad Khan.
Good evening, Chino Valley School Board and concerned families. Thank you for the opportunity to share our family's experience with OPA with you tonight. As a parent of 7 children, 4 that attend OPA now, 2 that graduated OPA are now at Ayala High School, and 1 that attends Los Serranos for alternative education, I understand your concerns and fears. Our son has a chronic condition that does not allow him to attend a regular school schedule. Los Serranos has given our son the opportunity to learn at his pace in his safe environment. Please keep in mind, Los Serranos was the neighborhood school and was shut down years ago. Children have been sent other locations for their education. OPA can help bring these children back home to school in their own neighborhood, lessening overcrowding in district schools. Our communities are growing and in desperate need for another school of choice. OPA will offer 900 students a place at the new K-8 OPA school, and your neighborhood students will have first right. OPA also believes in multiple intelligences. All children are smart. In fact, three of our 4 children at OPA now have an IEP. Our daughter we adopted has been able to recover from PTSD, being a victim of abuse, and to learn and regain confidence through OPA's curriculum. OPA works hard to ensure all children learn and succeed. They teach multiple languages, self-confidence, music, and dance through Dance Team, free tutoring on campus for struggling students, and so much more. I remember when our kids started at OPA, I went to visit the campus to see how they were doing. Not only was the campus open to all parents, I saw kids working math problems with chalk on a blacktop, learning geography by standing on a large map painted on the asphalt for teachers to shout out locations for children to find, and science teachers teaching the children some basic science experiments. The children were not confined to a classroom to listen, but encouraged to participate in a hands-on experience in child's own environment. The Los Serranos campus is not full. OPA will have the opportunity to fill the large campus and assist in locating another campus, possibly the district as it used to be, for virtual students and alternative education. No students will be left behind. Our family is a testament to that. OPA wants the best for all of our students. Children are our future. OPA gives their promise to not leave any child without a school, and I believe them. With Los Serranos, no child is left behind, but many will be lifted up.
Anthony Gibson, followed by Ahmad Khan, followed by Alberto Diaz.
First of all, good evening to the board this evening, to the entire board at large, and to all of the administrators and families that have turned out tonight. I'm a prospective parent at OPA and have been following what's been happening with the organization since early 2015. I've got a 4-year-old daughter that hopefully will have an opportunity to attend the campus sometime next year or possibly the year after. The reason I came out tonight is that I have been following what's been happening with OPA over the last several months, looking at the denial, looking at the appeals. I've actually reached out to the state of California Department of Education so that I could hear from them why they decided not to hear the appeal at that point in time. And it's been very interesting and very enlightening because some of the things that became very apparent to me is that it seemed as if both sides really weren't communicating clearly, with each other. Okay? Some of the things that I read were statements from the school administration that said, we really don't feel like we've had an opportunity to sit down and talk with the Chino Valley Unified School District Board. Okay? We don't feel like we're getting the proper feedback from them that we need to be able to cure this. I remember reading a magazine or a newspaper article that had a quote in it from one of the board's attorneys. And the quote read something similar to this: "We admire the scores that OPA's been able to achieve. We admire the development that they've been able to achieve with their kids." See, for me, it kind of stops right there when I hear that they admire the development that they've been able to achieve with their kids. Because for me as a parent, that's really what this is about. The attorney goes on to say, that the academic achievement of the individual pupil is important, but while it's important, it's not the only thing that's important. There are a number of other factors, right? We need to look at their budgets. We need to look at the fact that, some of their bookkeeping and different things have been not handled properly. But when I come in the room today, I look around and I look at the goals of the board. I look at your mission statement that talks about the student. It talks about learning opportunities. There's nothing up here that I see that says anything about a budget, okay? When I look around this room, I see a doctorate, another doctorate, and I'm sure that many of you have been involved in this board, for many, many years. And so you've committed your lives. You're passionate about learning.
I'm sorry, you're out of time.
Okay.
Ahmad Khan, followed by Alberto Diaz.
Good evening, President Cruz and members of the board. My name is Amjad Khan. I'm a law professor at UCLA, and I have my own practice. I'm a litigation partner. And perhaps more apt here tonight, I've been connected to this city and this district for 29 years. I started third grade at Eagle Canyon, went to Canyon Hills, went to Ayala, class of 97, graduated from Harvard Law School in 2004. I come here tonight, like the speaker before me, as a prospective parent. I have a 5-year-old son. And I love this city, and I love this district. And I look at OPA objectively. It came on my radar maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I see excitement. I see progress. I see energy. I see tenacity. And I see the opportunity for this district to have a second school, to put Chino on the map in America as a school that has 2 charters that could very well be top ranking in STEM and performing arts and other disciplines. That is really, really special. And my son hasn't been able to get in. We tried last year in the lottery, but we're excited. We're excited by the prospect that 900 parents can have a chance to have their kids go to a school in Los Serranos, an area I know well, and some of the low-income children there may have a chance to also excel. See, this is about choice. It's not about supplanting other schools. It's about choice. And it's about creating enough choices where we can all excel and engender a culture of excellence. This is why we should consider and deliberate and evaluate fairly what OPA is saying, not to displace what Los Serranos Alternative Adult Education is doing or alternative education is doing, which is very noble, but to find a home for this place. We all should be in the business of finding a home for this place because we're on the precipice of something special. I've seen it for 30 years. I've come back. I could have gone many places. I was blessed to go many places after Harvard Law School. But I'm back here because I feel like this city can thrive and progress with something like this, with the leaders that are here who are working day and night with the hundreds of parents outside and students at 9 o'clock at night on a Thursday in Chino wanting to support this. There's something special here, and I hope all of you guys consider it.
Alberto Diaz, followed by the final speaker, John Shipes.
Good evening. My name is Alberto Diaz, and I'm here with my wife, Erica, to lend our voice towards those in support of Oxford Prep Los Serranos. As a parent with 3 thriving students at OPA, I count my blessings daily for the incredible opportunity I have been given to be able to send my children to such a fantastic school. It is so easy to be thankful when I see the impact OPA has had on our family. However, it is most apparent when we are approached by families who have been trying to get their kids in for years. Not only do I see them when I'm attending the meetings, but I've personally seen their faces turn from hopefulness to disappointment year after year during the annual lottery. Every child deserves the best education they can get, and every parent deserves the opportunity to choose what that should be for their children. That's not to say that Chino Valley is not full of good schools. The awards that you see on the wall show differently. However, the hundreds of families that are on the waiting list also show that Chino families are looking for options. OPA Los Serranos will go a long way towards fulfilling those hopes and dreams for many of those families. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
John Shipes, the final speaker.
They must like me.
You do.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent Joseph, staff, community members, and guests. I didn't come prepared to speak tonight. They asked me to speak from the teacher's viewpoint because I've been a teacher at the school for 7 years. And I was actually the person who read off all of the names at our first lottery at Cross Point Church. And believe me, I was hoarse for several days because I was there naming those names for about 13 hours and having to spell them out and looking out in the audience as I called those names of those 7 and 8-year-olds that were getting into our great school. It touched me deeply. And now some of those kids that were second graders are 8th graders. After many years, they're in my class. And each year I see those students that, I welcomed into our school by calling their name. And I've worked with, hundreds of kids now. And when we decided to go ahead with the Los Serranos charter now, I think back on that experience and all those opportunities those children had, and then the children who did not have that opportunity that were not selected. And I see it every year at the lottery. Those children that are on that wait list that do not get picked. And I talk to those parents. And when we originally submitted the first charter, I remember walking the Los Serranos area because we were thinking about Los Serranos as a potential site. That was our original site we wanted. And I remember talking to the parents, signing them up with intent to enroll forms so that we would make our magic number of 350 that this board required. And I remember walking into the boardroom the night we got approved with 789 intent to enroll forms. So it's a very emotional thing for me to think of another opportunity for all these kids who have not had the opportunity to get into our program, because we are a great program. We have the highest achievement in the county. I've been there for 7 years. I don't have to be there. I could go elsewhere. I choose to be there because we have this great program. So I implore you to please consider Los Serranos and give the kids of that neighborhood the opportunity to have a great school like we have in the El Rancho neighborhood that we've turned into the best in the county. Thank you.
Now I close the public hearing at 9:13. Next item, please.
Item 2B1, instructional textbook adoption.
Recommend the Board of Education adopt the following instructional textbooks. Realidades, Level 3, Prentice Hall, 2004, Spanish, 3 Honors, Spanish AP. May I have a motion?
So
So moved.
Ms. Blair, second. Mr. Na, comments, questions?
Speakers?
No, it doesn't say speakers.
Are there any speakers?
Or is it?
There's no speakers.
No, there's no speakers. All, any comments, questions, or discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? The motion passes with a vote of 5-0. Next item, please.
Item 2B2, instructional textbook adoption.
Recommend the Board of Education to adopt the following instructional textbooks as listed in the agenda A through J. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Blair Hernandez, second. Mr. Na, comments, questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes with a 5-0. Next item.
Item 3C1, public hearing, sufficiency of instructional materials 2016-2017, and adoption of resolution 2016-2017-10.
Recommend the Board of Education to conduct a public hearing regarding the sufficiency of instructional materials 2016-2017 and adopt the resolution 2016-2017-10. I now open the public hearing regarding the sufficiency of instructional materials 2016-2017 at 9:15. Are there any requests to speak?
No requests.
Public hearing is closed at 9:15. Motion.
So moved.
Ms.
Second.
Blair, Mr. Na, comments, questions, discussion? Ms. Fikes.
The fifth whereas on page 13 says, the definition of sufficient textbooks or instructional materials means that each student, including each English learner, has a standards-aligned textbook and/or instructional materials to use in class and to take home, which may include materials in a digital format, but shall not include photocopied sheets from only a portion of a textbook. It goes on. And then at the bottom, it says in English Language Arts, it's in 7th and 8th grade, it's McDougall-Littell, which is from 2002. And as a former teacher in this district, I know that we do not have sufficient textbooks at our junior high to have students have a book in class and to take a book home. I asked about that last year, but I think I was told because we're using those teacher-developed units that it was not necessary that we have enough of the McDougall-Littell books. So if it is not necessary, then I'm wondering why that's the book that's referenced.
The textbooks are used as part of the units in there, and the textbooks should be allowed to be taken home. And when they're in the classroom and they're checked out to students, those textbooks are to be used to go home with them. If the teachers don't have enough textbooks, they need to report that to their administration, and then we would order more textbooks. And we survey the school sites in May, towards the end of the school year for the following year. We secondary curriculum along with the I can't think of it, at the PDC one where we warehouse all the books. We send out a survey to the sites for them to let us know so that we can order over the summer. And then once the school year starts, we also send out another communication to the school sites to let us know so we can purchase that, because we have the funds to purchase the books. We have that through the lottery funds that we spend every year to order more books if they're destroyed or damaged and stuff. And so the report that comes back to us is that we have sufficient textbooks. And I know you're indicating as a teacher you didn't have it, But the information that's coming back to us from the school sites is that they have the textbooks.
And say one thing, one more. When it comes to the Williams, the requirement is the students need a textbook at home. But when it comes to the classroom, you don't need a textbook in the classroom. If there's sufficiency, yes, you can give them a textbook, but it's not required under the Williams Act.
A textbook needs to be able to go home.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you can do that. You can give them one textbook that they keep, that they bring to school and they take home. They go back and forth, back and
Yes.
forth. Or you could, some places you may have a class set and students can take their textbook home. And with some of the new adoptions, there's an electronic version for textbooks so that they can take them home or access them electronically through the internet. But they need to have the ability to take that textbook home.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Any more questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes with a 5-0.
I abstain.
Oh, you abstain. Motion passes 4 and 1 abstain.
Item 2D1, compensation increase for classified substitutes and other non-bargaining unit members, noon ground supervisors, WIA students, and AVID tutors.
Oh, excuse me, sorry. I recommend the Board of Education to approve the compensation increase for classified substitutes and other non-bargaining unit members.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Blair, second. Mr. Roscoe, comment, questions, discussion. Ms. Blair?
No, that was from earlier, but
Oh.
you bypassed me, and that's okay.
Oh, sorry. Sorry
That's all
about
right. No biggie.
that. Oh, any comments, questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes with a vote of 5-0. That concludes with the action items. We're now at consent items. Pat, are there any speakers? Board members, any polls? Ms. Blair?
3D2, page 42, and 3F3, page 71.
Mr. Dahl?
I have no polls.
Ms. Fikes?
3F1, page 52.
Ms. Roscoe?
None.
And I don't have none. For the remainder of the consent items, may I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Ms. Blair? Second, Mr. No. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item 3D2, page 42. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Blair, second, Mr. Knoll. Comments, questions, and discussion. 3D2, 42.
And it's just a proclamation for a Red Ribbon Week, beginning October 23rd through the 31st. Whereas alcohol and other drug abuse has reached epidemic stages in the United States, whereas it is imperative that community members launch visible substance abuse prevention education efforts to reduce the demand for drugs. Whereas Californians for a Drug-Free Youth Incorporated is coordinating the California Red Ribbon Campaign in cooperation with the National Red Ribbon Campaign to offer our citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free and alcohol abuse-free lifestyles. Whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrated in every community in America during Red Ribbon Week, October 21st through the 23rd through the 31st, 2016. And whereas business, government, law enforcement, schools, religious institutions, service organizations, youth, senior citizens, military, sports teams, and individuals can demonstrate their commitment to drug-free and alcohol abuse-free healthy lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this campaign. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District hereby supports October 23rd through the 31st as Red Ribbon Week and encourages its students and staff and parents to participate in drug prevention education activities, making a visible statement that we are firmly committed to a drug-free and alcohol abuse-free community, and lifestyle.
Hearing nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 3F3, page 71. A motion?
So moved.
Mr. Na, second. Ms. Blair. Comments, questions, and discussion.
And this is just the resolution to support Mr. Mackessy's statement regarding the week of the school administrator and all the value that they provide at every school site. Whereas leadership matters for California's public education system and the more than 6 million students it serves. Whereas school administrators are passionate, lifelong learners who believe in the value of public education. Whereas the title school administrator is a broad term used to define many education leadership posts. Superintendents, assistant superintendents, principals, assistant principals, special education and adult education leaders, curriculum and assessment leaders, school business officials, classified education leaders, and the other district employees are considered administrators. Whereas providing quality service for student success is paramount for the profession. Whereas most school administrators began their careers as teachers, the average administrator has served in public education for more than a decade. Most California superintendents have served in education for more than 20 years. Such experience is beneficial in their work to effectively and efficiently lead public education and improve student achievement, whereas public schools operate with lean management systems. Across the nation, public schools employ fewer managers and supervisors than most public and private sector industries, including transportation, food service, manufacturing, utilities, construction, publishing, and public administration. And whereas school leaders depend on a network of support from school communities, fellow administrators, teachers, parents, students, businesses, community members, board trustees, colleges and universities, community and faith-based organizations, elected officials, and district and county staff and resources to help promote ongoing student achievement and school success. Whereas research shows great schools are led by great principals and great districts are led by great superintendents. These site leaders are supported by extensive administrative networks throughout the state. Whereas the state of California has declared October 9th through the 15th, 2016 as the week of the school administrator in Education Code 44015.1, and whereas the future of California's public education system depends on the quality of its leadership. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District that all leaders be commended for the contributions they make to successful student achievement. Approved, passed, and adopted by the Board of Education of the Chino Valley Unified School District this 6th day of October, 2016.
Hearing nothing further. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. 3F1, page 52. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms.
Second.
Blair, second. Mr. Na. Comment.
First of all, Dr. Park, thank you so much for all your quick responses to my questions, and I apologize for the lateness of my queries. On the number of people that we have teaching out of credentialed areas, are we limited with the number of people in the district that we can have out of credentialed areas?
No, we are not limited.
Oh, I thought we were. I thought that was an issue with some of the substitutes in particular that we've had that couldn't maybe assume certain positions because they didn't have the right credential, and so...
That's correct with substitutes, but when you're a certificated teacher, the Education Code and Title V allows some flexibility as long as there's teacher consent and board approval.
Okay. And I notice most of these instructional coaches are for the elementary school, and you did explain that to me. So at the junior high, it doesn't matter if they have a single subject credential, so you have a single subject math, you can still be the instructional coach in English?
Well, at the secondary level, our English coaches do have their English credential. Our math coaches have their math credential. And we also have science instructional coaches who are providing coaching in the area of science. And they're all able to do so with their valid single subject credential.
But don't we have a coach per school? So, for example, Kelly is the coach at Magnolia, and he is science credentialed, but is he only helping in science?
That's correct. He is providing staff development in the area of science only.
Oh.
I didn't know that either.
Hearing nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Any information on information items? Okay, we're now at communications. Ms. Blair.
So tonight I am wearing my Walnut Elementary School t-shirt. I want to thank Frankie Verduzco, who's still here at 9:30. Homework better have been done before arriving here. Thank you for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Walnut will soon begin celebrating the recognition for 50 years of educational service to our students of Chino Valley Unified. I look forward to joining in those celebrations very soon. The milk can game. Wow. I mean, it started off within a couple of minutes with a touchdown, and it just went back and forth through the remainder of the night. Don Lugo achieved the possession of the milk can trophy, but players on both sides showed maturity and genuine sportsmanship as they played passionately for the win. Congratulations to Don Lugo, but also congratulations to Chino Cowboys for playing their hearts out. I want to share that Ayala High School will soon be hosting the Music in Motion competition on October 15th. I hope the community attends and shows support to our high school bands as they compete for top honors. I want to share that National School Lunch Week begins October 10th through the 14th. It was created by President John F. Kennedy in 1962. National School Lunch Week is a week-long celebration of the school lunch program and all the benefits it provides to countless children. This year's theme is Show Your Spirit, which is about getting excited about the benefits of students consuming wholesome, healthy school lunches, fresh fruits and veggies, whole grains, milk, and smiling students. I want to thank all nutrition staff for providing a healthy school lunch, which helps our students power through the day. Then followed shortly thereafter, National School Bus Safety Week is the week of 17th through the 21st. It is designed to promote school bus safety. This year's theme is Bully-Free Zone. School Bus Safety Week is a great opportunity to promote the exemplary safety record of our school bus drivers and an opportunity to share with students, parents, and motoring public what they can do to contribute to school bus safety. I want to thank all of our transportation staff for ensuring that our buses are well maintained and that our students are transported with a high regard for their safety. You're all appreciated. And with that, everyone have a restful night.
Thank you. Mr. Na?
Yes, yeah, I just loved tonight's presentation, and thank you, Dr. Enfield, for doing a great job. You really, truly brought a light to, beaming the light for our future by bringing that multi-tier systems of support and behavior. Yes, we have multiple intelligence systems, and I'm sure at your school, you have a great program there too. But I think it's a great honor to see that we're embarking on this program, making our students healthy, not just intelligent, but healthy in behavior and with the challenges that the teenagers have to face in nowadays. We really need to have that standard, a good moral character. And at this time, I'd like to also ask all the parents to join me teaching our children to respect our teachers, and our staff members at school. Because I strongly believe the true education starts at home. And no matter how much time we put at school for 5, 8 hours, that may not be enough. So please, not only pay attention to your children, but also your neighbors. And look at their language they're using. Look at the music they're listening to. And look at the programs they're watching, because it has an effect. It's like a diet. You have bad diet at young age, later on, you're going to have a difficult time. Same thing. So thank you, Dr. Enfield, for doing a great job with tonight's presentation. I also like to thank our retired teachers, especially Mr. Felstad. On his pastimes, he would give out, he has a collection of those great works from his former students at his home. Now he's retired. He's returning those projects back to his former students. What an awesome teacher. So once I guess your teacher never goes away, whether you're retired or not. So thank you, great teachers. That goes for all the teachers in our school district, whether in charter school or anywhere. You guys are awesome individuals. I'd like to thank our band directors and students involved in bands. And one sunny afternoon, it was close to 100 degrees, I believe. Children were playing and practicing at Ayala High School. And my heart sank because they were sweating, but they wouldn't even have time to wipe those sweats down because they were practicing so hard. And that's what this life is about sometimes. You never give up, you continue. And with the practice, you become perfect one day. And that's what our students are about. And I see these young ladies in the back, and could be our high school or college students. But it's good that you get to involved and watch adults and what they do for a living and the gratifications they receive because we serve our youths. The other day, I was involved with all these concerns from adults. And I didn't know where to go, but my foot took me to a school, actually, a high school. And I saw kids, and they're just busy walking in the lunch break time. And it just made me happy, just seeing the youth walking. And I can see our teachers nodding. So for you guys, I want you to know we really appreciate you, we love you, and we're here for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Fikes?
No comments tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Orozco?
I was waiting for your lead into my retirements. Okay, I think I'm on. So this evening's retirements in our board agenda include Anita Moreno, 9 years of service, type clerk to Chino High School. Diane McEvely, I can't believe she's retiring, 25 years of service, district attendance specialist, business services. Diana, we're going to miss you because I know she has saved the district some money because she is very thorough in her job. So thank you for your 25 years of service. Hopefully, we will have something down the road where we will be able to acknowledge our employees with so many years. Curtis Bernath, 23 years of service, grounds equipment operator to maintenance. John Chavez, 16 years of service, maintenance 3, electrician maintenance. And Martha Buckley, 13 years of service, nutritional services assistant in nutrition services. Congratulations to all of you. Good luck, have fun, and thank you for your service. Okay, so Townsend Junior High School. Maybe there are a lot of junior high bands that have 100+ members. I don't know, but that just seemed like a large number. And they are well known throughout districts, Townsend Junior High. It would be. It would have been nice to see all of them play, but obviously our boardroom isn't big enough. I don't know. Don't we have a bond where maybe we can have a boardroom that's big enough to? Just thought I'd throw that in. But anyway, yeah. You know what? The comment was that the band members practice long hours. I'll tell you. Band members will be there in the morning. Like that, huh? Band members will be there in the morning, and you go pass by in the evening, and they're there again. So you don't know if they're the same band members, which I presume that they are, or they're different groups. But they practice long hours, and obviously it shows because they're always winning national awards. So kudos to Townsend Junior High School band. Campus of Hope, AEC. I like that. I actually have a comment about, I was going to bring up anyway, but it's true. Many students are touched through that campus, and many of the students thought that they weren't going to make it and end up making it. And it's such a pleasure to see that our students are being serviced. Mr. Joseph, there is one little concern, though, and it was just brought to my attention. So there was a senior who attends one of our high schools, and I'll let you know which one, but attends one of our high schools and goes to 2 classes, I think, at the high school, and then the rest goes to the AEC. There needs to be communication with the students about senior activities. He almost missed ordering cap and gown because he wasn't aware of it. And I'm sure it could have been, maybe an announcement when he wasn't there, but there's got to be an effort for those students.
Let me know.
Okay. I attended the Boys Republic Awards. That's always a nice event, especially hearing their stories and where they're at. I'll tell you what, I can recall going back in the day when the event was held in the cafeteria, and there was only a handful. Today, the event is held in their chapel, and it's completely full. So it was a really nice event. It's nice to hear the stories. It was great. I also attended the Fire District State of the District. It was a very nice event. The milk can game. I was waiting for you to say something, Mrs. Blair.
I was nice to you tonight.
I was ready, though. So congrats to Chino High School. Although they didn't come up with the milk can, they played tough. It was definitely back and forth and back and forth. Congrats to Don Lugo, who did win the milk can this year. You notice I said this year. Who won the milk can this year. But you know what? It was really nice because there was a couple of boys who I recognize on the Don Lugo team who grew up with my son and were actually did well. Corey Bethley and Tino Torrento. Congrats to you guys. It was neat to see you guys play and then be able to achieve that milk can. So congrats to you all. And finally, I attended the district-wide college night at Chino Hills High School. I'll tell you what, I've been to several of the college nights at several of the high schools, and I think this one was by far the biggest one. I don't know what they did to announce, or I don't know, but I'll tell you, it was jam-packed to where people could barely go through the aisles. So it was a great event. They had several colleges there, and as well as the military's branches, and so a lot of good information. As I've said in the past in regards to the college night, they advertise it to juniors and seniors, but I'll tell you what, you need to go as a freshman because that's when you need to start making your plans as to what school you're going to go to and what they want to see in a student. So freshman, sophomore, get in there and get to those college nights. And with that, I will conclude my comments and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Mr. Joseph?
Congratulations to Ayala High English teacher Alexis King, who was one of 4 San Bernardino County Teachers of the Year, honored in a ceremony that I was able to attend October 3rd in San Bernardino. She has spent 6 of her 7 years as a teacher in her current position at Ayala. CVUSD seniors have the opportunity to take the SAT test free at their school sites on October 19th. The district pre-registered the seniors and paid for the test fees to help increase the number of students taking the college admissions exam. CVUSD schools will participate in the Great California Shakeout Earthquake Drill at 10:20 a.m. on Thursday, October 20th. Are you and your family prepared for a major earthquake? Find out more at www.shakeout.org. And finally, I would like to congratulate Dr. Jeanette Chen on her acquiring a great position up north. We will miss you. You'll be sorely missed. And we congratulate you on your advancement. And with that,
Okay, thank you. I had the opportunity to once again see young men turn their lives around. I attended the Boys Republic Annual Award late September. It's humbling and heartwarming to see these young men embrace the opportunities at Boys Republic and give themselves a chance at success. Kudos to Principal Hampton and staff. Congratulations. We're always rooting for you. I also visited Magnolia Junior High School where Alondra, San Bernardino County Superintendent, was also in attendance, taking in the supportive educational environment at school. Congratulations to the Chino High School 77 Cavalry Marching Band and Pageantry for taking first place in the Los Angeles County Fair and High School Marching Band competition on September 23rd. It's believed that they may be representing us next year in the Rose Parade. The Milk Can game, what an awesome display of athleticism and competitivism, very much like the professionals across the world. My hat off to the young athletes and their coaches, and of course parents and fans who made it a memorable night. And a reflection, Dr. Enfield, you know, the people that were here at OPA and seeing the changes that are occurring in our education, you know, from the Industrial Revolution age now going into the robotic age. We know that things are going to be changing rapidly, and knowing that programs such as STEM, agriculture, performances, things that are individual basis are going to matter a whole lot for our children. And it's going to be quite exciting because when down to it, we're not all the same. We're like sausages, different types of sausages, very unique. And that's what makes America great. We're not common. We're different. And these are the changes that we're going to go into. And it's not going to be 2 years. It might be sooner, but that's the direction we're moving in the robotic age, and that's where we're striving for. So, adjournment at 9:46 p.m.